Next up, we have our friends from Facebook with a presentation on the future of marketing. As you know, Facebook is the ominous platform. They're everywhere. So please, without further ado, help me introduce my friend Reno to the stage. Please, get your hands together for him. Thank you to the two people that clap. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's great to be here. With all of you. I'm Renal De Silva, and I'm from Facebook. Before I joined Facebook, I used to be with Unilever for a long time, working as a marketer, and I see a number of familiar faces and old friends in the audience today. It's great to be with all of you again. I also see a number of familiar faces from Facebook and people I've worked with at companies since joining Facebook, and it's wonderful to be with all of you again as well. A few months ago, I got a call from an old friend who works as a marketing manager with an FMCG company in China. And he said to me, he said, I'm really anxious about my career. I'm worried that I don't have the skills I need to succeed. And I was a bit taken aback because he works for a fantastic company. They do all kinds of digital training and digital skills and so on. And he works in China. That's the most advanced digital marketing ecosystem you can imagine. And so I was a bit taken aback. And so I said, tell me more, help me understand what it is you're going through. And so he said that there's just so much noise in the industry today, so much jargon, so many buzzwords that I really don't know what it is I need to focus on. And at some point we will get these slides to move as well. I was speaking to him and I realized that even though he was in China, he had one big burning question, which is, what does he need to know? What should he focus on in order to have a successful career in the future, in order to become a CMO or a vice president of marketing in the future? Now, before we talk about the future, I think it's really important to understand what is changing in the present, in the here and now. And one unstoppable trend is the number of people who are spending time on social media platforms and messaging platforms. And we've been very fortunate at Facebook. The number of people who are spending time on our platforms, be it Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, has continued to grow and is still continuing to grow. But what's even more interesting than just the number of people is what they're doing on this platform. And people are spending almost 100 million hours every day watching videos on these platforms. 70 million small and medium businesses. Many of them are the kind of brands that are upstarts challenging the big companies. 70 million of them are using Facebook to reach potential consumers all over the world. Instagram stories, which disappear within 24 hours, are the next major trend or the next major medium, you might say. 300 million accounts are using these actively every day. What's really interesting is that 1/3 of the most viewed stories, 1/3, are from businesses and brands, not from individual people. The other interesting thing that's taking the world by storm is messaging. And we thought that messaging was about people connecting with each other, but more and more it seems like it's about businesses and people connecting with each other. 2 billion messages are exchanged every month between people and businesses. Research shows that 53% of people, that's 1 out of 2, more than 1 out of 2 people, are more likely to shop from a brand or a business that is open to communicating with them on a messaging platform. The number of people using Facebook in Southeast Asia continues to grow. Some say that 8 out of 10 adult consumers are now active users of Facebook in Southeast Asia. 97% of them are accessing the app through their mobile devices. That's an enormous number. And what it means is that the mobile is becoming a mass medium. It is no longer a telephone or a means of communication. It is also a mass medium between brands and their consumers. And whenever a new medium comes along, a new mass medium, it tends to change the way consumers behave. It influences people's thoughts, it influences their behavior in new ways. And so it's interesting to figure out what are the ways in which people think and behave differently when they are on their mobile devices, when they're accessing this new mass medium. Let me ask you a question. Does anybody here use a dating app, Tinder or something like that? Anyone? Okay, these apps are supposedly very popular, but every time I ask this question, it seems like no one is using them. Research has shown that people who use these apps are making a decision about whom to date. They're making that decision within a fraction of a second. And that's really interesting because this is a fairly important decision. It's a more important decision than which brand of shampoo to buy, which brand of mobile phone to buy, or even which brand of car to buy. Whether you're making this decision for the evening or for the rest of your life, this decision will have consequences. And yet people are making that decision within a second or two at most. We looked at our own data and we found that people were engaging with content on our desktop newsfeed and spending about 2.5 seconds per item of content. But the same people on our mobile newsfeed were spending only 1.7 seconds per item of content. And then the research showed that it actually doesn't take long for people to remember what they've seen. Think about it. Everyone here has, over the last couple of days, on Facebook or on Instagram, you've seen some baby photos posted by a relative. You've seen some photos of a fabulous vacation or an amazing meal posted by a friend or colleague. You've seen or you've watched the latest bizarre thing that the President of the United States has said or done. And you've looked at it for a quarter of a second and you still remember it. So we call this behavior high-speed viewing. People are moving faster and they're becoming more impatient. Because they're becoming more impatient, the desire for instant gratification, especially when people are spending time on the mobile medium, is higher than it has ever been. Some research, this is old research, but it shows that people's attention span when they're on their mobiles is less than that of a goldfish. Now the desire may be for instant gratification, but the reality is more like this. Have you ever encountered this screen when you're trying to get something downloaded, you're trying to watch a video, you're trying to access a website? I have, and I can tell you it's quite frustrating. Right? So reality is like this. It's not instant gratification. It's like this. And it's like this. This happened to me when I was trying to book a ticket on the website of one of Asia's best airlines. I had to start all over again. This is how I felt. Has this ever happened to you? The reality, folks, is that the consumer's journey today is full of friction, right? Many people expect that consumers will go and search for their brands. When the consumers arrive at the app or the website, we give them forms to fill. Anybody here likes filling a form? Anyone? Me neither. Many sites don't remember what people did the last time, right? And so people have to again and again remind the sites what they like, what they don't like. When brands advertise online, many of them don't link back to actual product pages. They link to home pages. And so this has happened to me. I was trying to buy some furniture, and I saw this beautiful chair, and I said, I want that. And then I clicked on the ad, and it took me to the home page of the website. There's no chair. I spent 15 minutes searching for the chair on that website, and I did not find it. And so I gave up and I left. And that's what people are doing today. In some high involvement categories, there might be skincare, there might be financial services, people want advice. They want to talk to someone, right? They want to ask personal questions. And all they get, most of the time, they get FAQs, which don't answer their questions. And so they leave and they take their business somewhere else. The worst crime of all, I feel, is when people have gone through this entire gauntlet. They've gotten right to the end of that process, and they actually want to buy something, and then we ask them to fill in credit card details and all of that. And imagine doing that on a phone with your thumbs. That is painful. It is frustrating. And so it's no surprise that even though 60% of shopping takes place on mobile, only 15% of sales are actually happening there. $260 billion is estimated to be the value of items left behind in abandoned shopping carts on e-commerce sites in the US alone. $260 billion. And that's people who've made it past all these hurdles and gotten to the end of that journey, and they've decided to give up, and they've left $260 billion behind in the US. 60% of people are leaving right at the start. When you present them with that form, when you bring them to a home page where the chair they want isn't there. Can you imagine the value that is lost? It could be trillions of dollars. One estimate is that the value lost in the Asia Pacific region is $350 billion. Can you imagine the growth that our companies would have, that our businesses and brands would have, if we can capture a fraction of this amount? We're doing our best at Facebook. We have introduced a few solutions which help to remove friction from people's journeys. One of them is Facebook Login, a very smooth way to get people into your brand experience without needing to fill in any passwords, without needing to even register. Many companies like Pactor are using this very, very successfully to take out friction right at the start of people's brand experiences. Imagine that you wanted to buy a gift for someone and you were searching for the perfect gift, but then the perfect gift appeared almost magically in your newsfeed. That's what dynamic ads do. They bring things to you that you hadn't even thought of, but when they arrive, you know, wow, that's fantastic. That is exactly what I was looking for. And if you are in the business of marketing today, you cannot afford to ignore things like this. These are the technologies that make magical experiences for people possible. Another amazing thing that's happening now is the convergence of advertising and shopping. In the olden days, and I can see a couple of people in the audience from those days, we used to advertise in one place and then the shopping would happen in another place. Even as things have gone online, that still seems to be happening. The collection ad that we've introduced is an attempt to bring those two things together. For the first time, you have the advertisement and the shopping experience, all the products which are featured there in one place. And this is showing very good results for brands like Tommy Hilfiger. In cases where people need to have a conversation, where they need to engage more, they want to find out more, we've introduced something called Click to Messenger, which enables people to go into Messenger and have a conversation with your brand or your business. For brands like Sephora, this has meant increase in the number of people booking appointments with their beauty advisors, and therefore an increase in the number of people coming to their stores. For brands like SalesStock, which is an e-commerce brand in Indonesia, this has meant a tremendous improvement in customer response time, but more importantly, 2.3 times increase in the conversion of people who are browsing into people who actually bought something. So that's 2.3 times more than people who just visited their website or their app. How awesome is that? Now, we've spoken about all these things, and maybe some of these are a bit distant from most of our everyday reality. Maybe we don't work in these categories, these industries are not relevant to us. So I want to talk about something that most of us have done or ordered or bought at least once in the last year, I believe, and that's pizza. What's it like to order a pizza today? Is there anybody here who hasn't ordered a pizza in the last 5 years? Okay, we've got a couple of people. Okay, that always happens, statistics. But just for those people, we've got a slide which explains what that's like. I think everybody else is quite familiar with this. But imagine the number of steps that it takes to order a pizza today. You've got to start up the app, you've got to browse through the menu, find the pizza you want, then they make you look for add-ons. Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want extra cheese? Do you want extra jalapenos? Right? Put it in the cart, put in your payment details. A lot of these guys still want you to type out your credit card details. Finally, review your order, and then at last you're done, and hopefully the pizza will come. What if instead you could just send an emoji of a pizza slice, and then your favorite pizza just arrived, piping hot, delivered to your door? Of course, you've got to go in once, you've got to tell them what your favorite pizza is, and you've got to tell them where your door is, your address, and you've got to give them your payment details. But after that, what if you could just do this with one touch and one emoji? The amazing thing is that for some companies and for some brands, this will be the future. But for some, this is already the present. Brands and companies that remove friction from consumers' journeys are the ones that are going to be successful. And I think that's the one thing that everyone who wants to be successful in the future has to focus on. That is the future we've got to get ready for. And I can tell you at Facebook, we're doing our part, we're doing a few things to get ready for what we call the zero friction future. I believe that everyone here today has some kind of a dream. You may be a brand manager or marketeer working at a big company, and you have a dream of making your brand successful. You may be a former brand manager who started up your own entrepreneurial venture and you want to make that successful. Or you may be from an agency or a technology company that is supporting these folks to become successful. Whatever your dream, I believe that to become successful in the future as a marketer, you have to focus on getting ready for that zero friction future. At Facebook, we are committed to working with you to make that happen, and I would love it if we can help you build some of those dreams together. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll do our best to support you in whatever way we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.